Okay, so my next book is Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins. This was recorded in 2012, and it seems like it's basically a live recording of one or several conferences that he's done where they pick out kind of the top, I don't know how long this was, maybe 6 to 7 hours of content from a live conference, I think. So lots of good stuff in here. Here's the biggest takeaways, the biggest stuff that I had notes on. Number one, I know he stole this from Jim Rohn. He said that Jim Rohn was kind of his hero. You've heard me say it many times. You become like the people that you spend the most time with. You live up to other people's expectations of you. You become who you think that they expect you to be. So the people you spend time with is really important. He talks about incantations versus affirmations. Now, I've talked about saying daily affirmations as part of the Miracle Morning. I've shared with you guys my list of stuff that I say every day. But Tony Robbins says you shouldn't just say affirmations. If you say affirmations, it's like, I'll be a good husband, I'll be a good husband, I'll be a good husband. Like you're saying the same thing over and over again, and it's not really going to make any difference. But he says you should have incantations where you are saying it with a lot of feeling and emotion and you're believing it. And he's really passionate and dramatic about the way he explains this. And, it's a good point. That is covered in the book Miracle Morning, where he talks about saying your daily affirmations with a lot of emotion. But Tony Robbins calls it something else. He calls them incantations, but he's a firm believer in doing these daily. When we repeat things about our conditions, we believe them. If you say, yeah, I'm just feeling sick today, I'm not feeling well, I'm not doing well, I don't have energy, you will believe that, and you will prophesize that. Am I saying that right? You will make it exist. It'll happen because you say it'll happen. You say my car keys are lost. I can't find my car keys. I can't find them. I can't find them. Well, you probably aren't going to find them. You are saying what shall be. So work on the way that you speak. Say things that you want to happen. Focus more on that. He says that fear is our biggest self-limiter. So often when we say that we're stressed, we're often filled with fear of failure. So often it's not really stressed, it's fear of failure. There are so many things that we're afraid of. It's fear of rejection, fear of many different things, but that is definitely our biggest self-limiter is fear. And he's a big proponent of getting rid of it and don't worry about what other people think. That will get rid of a lot of that fear, and it'll eliminate a lot of what we often refer to as stress. He tells the story about two performers, and these are actually famous people. I can't remember their names now, but the first person, they're both singers. The first person sought him for professional help because every time she'd get on stage, she'd start getting a really rapid heartbeat. Or before she was going to perform, she'd get a really rapid heartbeat, she'd get flushed, she'd get tingly, and she'd start breathing hard. And she said she knew right then she was starting to have a panic attack right before she was going to perform. And he talked to another performer, one of his heroes, I don't remember who it was, but the guy said almost the exact same thing. He said he'd start to go on stage and he'd start to get a rapid heartbeat. He'd get flushed. He'd get tingly. His breathing would speed up. And he said he knew right then he is primed to give one of the best performances ever. This is what his body does when he's getting ready to shine. And the point is they're both feeling the exact same thing, but it's what they make out of this that affects how they perform. So I thought that was a great story. There's 3 beliefs to have a lasting change. Number 1, it must change. Not should, Must. If you say, I should go on a diet, that means nothing. When you say, I must go on a diet, well, now there's power behind it. When you say, I must change it, who? You're not saying it must change, you're saying I must change it. You are owning it. You're taking responsibility for it. And then saying I can change it. So it must change, I must change it, and I can change it. Those are the three beliefs if you want to have a lasting change. Must, I, and can. Another point he brings up is that the past does not equal the future. Looking back on past performance, saying, well, it's never worked in the past, yada, yada. Self-limiting belief. Don't do that. Don't get stuck in whatever has happened in the past. You're going to stay in the past when you do that. All beliefs carry with them consequences well, I'll leave it at that. I've got a lot of notes here. I don't want to make this video too long. Change is never a matter of ability. It's a matter of motivation. This can be done by looking forward to the benefits of the change and by dreading the consequences of not changing. When you look forward to changes that you're going to make and you think about all the wonderful things that this will do for you, this will motivate you. It's all about motivation. It's not thinking about whether you can do it or can't. Well, you do want to say that you can do it, but oh boy, I hope I got the right microphone. I don't. Oh well, the audio is not going to be great. Too bad. Where was I? Okay. Momentum comes with action. It's all about starting. Simply start. This is talked about in that book, Atomic Habits. Do the first part. If I want to make this video, I mean, start by just simply opening the program. If you want to get through a whole book, start by reading the first page. If you want to start exercising, start by putting on your exercise clothes. Start by putting on the right shoes. Miracle Morning, something he talks about is you want to start your day off, you want to get out of bed right away, do all these things. Start by brushing your teeth right away. It's all about momentum. Another point is that rapport is power. How do you develop rapport? By caring. He spends a lot of time talking about this. And I mean, I think a lot of this is simply sales training, but rapport is created by a feeling of commonality. And words don't always work for that, but matching and mirroring always does. And I think we all know what this is, but it's a matter of matching posture, by matching tone, by matching volume, matching speed when you're talking to somebody. I mean, and it's, you know, if you see somebody sitting there next to you and they got their legs crossed, cross your legs. If they're talking really loudly, well, maybe you want to kind of match them when they're talking soft and they're quiet. You don't want to be the loud, abrasive person. It's not going to work well. So matching and mirroring establishes rapport. It's the easiest thing you can possibly do if you want to establish rapport, is do that. This would be good training for all of the inspectors on our team. A strategy is a specific way of organizing your resources. All human behavior is belief-driven. Your beliefs and your values control your entire life, and these are what control your decisions. All of your decisions are based on what you believe. Henry Ford said this a long time ago, obviously, and you know where I'm going. You've heard this repeated so many times. It's where he says, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And it's an overused saying, but it's so true. It all comes down to what you believe you can do, and you will fulfill your own beliefs. And the last point here is that values are the emotional states that you believe are the most important to feel or avoid. It's all about pain and pleasure. It's about deciding whether something is painful or whether or not something will bring you pleasure. And that's where your energy goes towards. And when you start to shift your way of thinking, and if you say, oh, well, going on a diet is going to be painful. I'm not going to be able to eat any of the foods that I want. Or it's going to make me avoid pleasure because I really enjoy eating this food. You're going to make it really tough for yourself. So it's all about changing your beliefs if you're going to succeed at something. I don't know why I keep talking about diet as an example here. It just seems like a really easy one, but this can apply to so many other areas of our lives. And then finally, my 2 cents on the book is that I think everybody ought to listen to at least one Tony Robbins book or seminar or conference or something. I mean, he is so positive. There's a reason he's a household name. Everybody knows who he is. Whether you've listened to him or read his books or not, you know who he is. And it's for good reason. It's because this guy is so full of energy. He is so positive. He is so energetic. You can't listen to him and not be inspired and not take action. And, I'll tell you, if you do, I know there are some people who talk about Tony Robbins kind of like, oh yeah, you've been listening to Tony Robbins book or something if your people are super excited. And, I'll tell you, it reminds me of something that my pastor has said many times at church, where when he talks about tithing, he'll preach about tithing and giving, and he'll say, the people in the room who are tithing, who are giving, they love hearing this message. They can't hear enough of it. The people who aren't, those are the ones who write notes and emails and complain and say, we talk about money too much. We talk about giving too much. I feel the same way about, when I hear people complain about Tony Robbins. It's going to be the negative people. It's going to be the people who do not have positive attitudes, who have low energy, who really are kind of stuck where they are and they don't want to make a big change. Those are the ones who complain about this kind of thing. So what else did I have? A couple other notes. When you're positive, when you're energized, when you believe in yourself, you love hearing this stuff. And well, that was about it. Just when you're sitting on the other side of this, your tendency is to look at Tony Robbins or these types of books and write it all off as self-motivational garbage. But it becomes whatever you believe it will become. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Go out and listen to a Tony Robbins book. You don't need to take notes. You can power through it. You will leave feeling inspired. And if you don't, I'll pay for the book. All right, that's it.